All right, welcome to Information Society. We want to just look at some few and basic questions popular in Information Society, which you will most likely see in your exams. Now, let's look at this question. In historical sequence, in the 1960s, Africa got off to a bad start. In the 1970s, in the context of world capitalism, crisis and restructuring, its development model collapsed, needing by the end of the decade a bailout from foreign lenders and international institutions in the 1980s. The burden of the debt and the structural adjustment programs imposed as a condition for international lending disarticulated economies, impoverished society, and destabilized states. It triggered in the 90s the incorporation of some minuscule sectors of some countries into the global capitalism, as well as the chaotic delinking of most people and most territories from the global economy. We are looking at Information Society. Give 5 reasons for this successive development. So you should know the brief history behind Information Society, how we have moved from one state to another up to where we are now in the Information Society. Now, some Ghanaian youths are of the notion that colonialism and poor leadership have heavily undermined our ability to develop, and believe that there is no neutral ground for developing countries to attain to the height of development that will move the nation forward. Discuss 5 reasons why information and communication technologies are seen by various different bodies of the international community as being, among others, essential and a level ground for many countries. So the summary of all this question is, why is technology or information and communication technology seen as a level ground for all countries? You know that now IT makes every country similar, because apart from some people don't produce oil, some people don't have gold, some people don't have many resources, but as far as computing is concerned, no country is above the other. So you have to explain why. Every country has different needs and a different level of development. However, some basic requirements for the development of ICTs have been made and can be suitable for all. Discuss 4 of such development needed for an adequate enabling environment and give 2 benefits of policy and regulatory reforms. So the focus here is on policy and regulatory reform. Research on violence in the media concludes that exposure to violence leads to real violence. A. Desensitization. B. Disinclination. C. Deference. D. Devotion. Another question is, a problem of the Information Society includes A. Electronic crime, B. Technological unemployment, C. Surveillance, and D. Even distribution of new media. Suggesting the new tools and machinery propel social change is A. Media, B. Technology, C. Cultural, D. Economic determinism. These are some few questions you should have in-depth knowledge about. Other areas you should also have information about is, what are the transformative roles of ICT in society? What are they seeking to promote in the interdisciplinary study of the social, political, and economic ramification of the globalization process, with specific focus on Ghana's strategy for a knowledge society? Another question is, what are the major political and socio-economic related factors influencing the spread of ICT, considering cost-benefit relations and long-term consequences of growing rates of digital information emission and consumption? When we come to e-governance and the internet, what does it mean to talk about controlling or governing the internet? Examine the libertarian and the interventionist stance towards cyberspace? Is there a need for policy or regulation at the national or global level to protect the interests of citizens and the stakeholders? Is it feasible to implement policies or regulations in an online space? Despite the disappointment for many following the best of the .com bubble, electronic business services, both business to business and business to customer, continue to grow. How do we move forward from there? So we are looking at commercial practices, the potential for new forms of intermediation, and the basis for trust in the online world. So these are questions you can have. Explain the difference between those who emphasize tacit knowledge as the basis for technological and organizational innovation and those who emphasize codification. Why do advanced information and communication technology raise new questions about the generation, distribution, and absorption of information and knowledge? So this is also something you can look at in your spare time. Is the information society a new phenomenon, or is it a question of emphasis? It's a question you can be asked. Has the development led to a new revolution as never seen before, as many scientists and policymakers would have us believe? What are the general sense, the consequences of this evolving information society? Can information technology be controlled, and if so, what are the main instruments of control? All right, so when we talk about information society, you should also know the history, how we have moved from the agrarian age, how we have moved from the post-industrial age to the industrial age, and we are now at a more advanced state. Thank you. So let's look at computer networks or networking. Sample questions you will be asked, and you can always be asked, is, for example, what is meant by data communication, and explain its characteristics. What are the components of data communication? Explain different data flow directions. What is network topology? Explain the different types of networks. What is protocol and standards? Outline the OSI model. What is TCP IP model? Write about digital signals. Write about composite signals. Explain analog to digital, analog to analog conversion technique. What is multiplexing? And what explain different types of multiplexing. What is write about wavelength division multiplexing. Okay, you know about ARQ protocols, simplest stop and wait protocol. You have to be able to write about this. And what is UDP, TCP segment flow control in TCP, SCTP. You should have information regarding this petty things as far as networking is concerned. Let's also look at some other petty questions you can also have on the side. When the mail server sends mail to other mail servers, it becomes A, SMTP client, B, SMTP server, C, peer, D, master. You should have that information. Which of the following statements could be valid with respect to the ICMP, Internet Control Message Protocol? A, it reports all errors which occur during transmission. B, a redirect message is used when a router notices that a packet seems to have been routed wrongly. It informs routers when an incorrect path has been taken. The destination unreachable type message is used when a router cannot locate the destination. So you should have this idea at the back of your mind. At the back of your mind. Okay, the normal questions I can ask you is that a school wishes to implement a particular network. They want to use point-to-point link. or they want to use any of the topologies, with the aid of a diagram, explain which network topology they should use, enumerate 2 advantages and disadvantages of that particular network, outline 3 other network topologies that the school could adopt. The school has a vast campus of about 1,000 km. What type of network is the school likely to implement? Know the difference between the TCP reference model and the OSI model, so you should be able to work on that. Now quickly, what does HTTP stand for? A collection of what does HTTP stand for? Is one question on this one. A collection of hyperlinked documents on the internet forms. Well, so questions in this area and in this region are what we are likely to look at. Thank you very much for your audience. Okay, let me add some few other questions. We have explain the types of transmission modes. You should know that one, the types of transmission modes, telecommunication and networking. What are the different types of network? You should know the different types of network we have. What is Nyquist signaling rate for noiseless channel? What is Shannon capacity for noisy channel? What is attenuation? Telecommunication and networks. Explain the various types of multiplexing, wavelength, and I think we are done over here. So these are roughly questions in this field. Thank you.